Hello and welcome to night number 3 of the 2012 Race for Life Donnie Ray Crawford Memorial Race at Port City Raceway in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Kaiser Wheels are some of the nicest and dependable wheels on the market today. Located in Orange City, Iowa, Kaiser Wheels are dedicated to giving you the most for your hard-earned dollar. Kaiser Wheels are used by some of today's top racers.
Hey, this is Hunter Schoenberg.
Hi, this is Brian Clausen.
This is Shane Cottle.
I love my Kaiser Wheels. Be wiser, buy Kaiser.
For more, visit KaiserWheels.com or call 712-737-3053. Kaiser Wheels, we expect the results you dream about.
Sawyer Chassis out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma is one of the leaders in manufacturing and producing microsprints for customers all over the nation, having accumulated over 130 wins already in 2012, most recently a top 5 sweep at the Mike Phillips 66 Memorial. Sawyer Chassis clearly has the advantage over the competition. You can visit us online at www.sawyerchassis.com.
Sawyer Chassis all the way, baby!
Trust what works. Trust the unparalleled performance of a Sawyer Chassis.
There were 3 C features to start the racing action tonight. The top 4 finishers in each C feature will transfer to their respective B feature. The first C feature on the track was for the A class. The 16-car field would take the green, led by Bailey Felkins and Kelly Mahaffey. Both drivers would hold on to their positions and go on to transfer to tonight's B feature. Along with Felkins and Mahaffey, Jason Collins and Trenton Borchers would be the last 2 drivers to lock into the B feature. The second C feature was the non-wing class. 18 cars were scheduled to start this race, but 4 drivers would not make the call. Stephen Curbo and Jeremy Schulin would lead the field to the green. Curbo would go on to win the race and transfer himself into tonight's non-wing B feature. The other 3 drivers that would transfer would be Jason Tracy, Jeremy Schulin, and Kevin Baird. The final C feature of the night was for the Outlaw class. With 5 cars scheduled to start, only 1 made the call, so he automatically transfers to the B feature. Tonight would be the culmination of the weekend's events at Port City Raceway. Everyone had come together as one to memorialize an amazing human being that was Donnie Ray. 3 of his cars were on display for fans to see this weekend, including 2 of his microsprints and the midget he drove in his last Chili Bowl appearance. There were many items donated, from racing helmets, shoes, and gloves to headers, wings, and personal works of art, all to be auctioned off for the Donnie Ray Crawford Memorial Scholarship Fund. Aaron Lemons started the ceremony off by asking all of the drivers to come out onto the front stretch to pay tribute to the memory of Donnie Ray Crawford, observing 55 seconds of silence. Each one of Donnie Ray's family members thanked drivers and fans alike for all the support that they have been given through this tragedy. Even Donnie Ray's dog Boomer was there, and she was so well behaved that not once did she even make a sound. Pastor Hagen would offer a prayer, and the color guard would salute the national anthem with the crowd. Chants of Donnie Ray would break out from the far stands. It was time to get down to business, because that's what we were here for, and that's what Donnie Ray Crawford would have wanted.
And then we'll be ready to get started, guys. I got a guy, Jonathan's going to talk to you just a second. Okay, guys, you fans ready to go racing? Yeah! All right, we're ready.
The B features were next on the schedule. The first B feature would see the A class start the show. Chris Wilson and David Baker Jr. would lead the 16-car field of hopeful drivers to the green, all aching for that chance to start the A feature. In the end, Wilson would take the win over Jason Tracy, Christopher Martin, and Austin Helt. These 4 drivers would be the last 4 drivers to transfer into the A-Class. The second B feature saw the restricted class on the track. Caley Bryson and Kent Miller Jr. would lead the 14-car field to the green flag. Only 4 spots left in the A feature for this class, and Kent Miller Jr. would be the first driver to take one of those spots by winning the B. The other 3 cars locking into tonight's A feature were Race Bowen, Caley Bryson, and Wes Little, snatching up that final spot. The third B feature on tap was for the non-wing class. It was an all-Halsey front row with Harlan starting on the pole and Ty on the outside. They would lead the 16-car field to the green flag just to see who would be the top 4 drivers to grab the final 4 spots for tonight's non-wing A feature. The Halseys would hang on to each of their starting spots, Harlan taking the win with Ty finishing second. The final 2 drivers to transfer would be Devin Huff and Court Dodson. There were 9 cars for the Sportsman B feature and only 4 transfer spots available. Kurt Reimer was on the pole for this race, and the outside of him was the 16-car Darius Myers. Reimer would go on to take the victory, locking himself into tonight's A feature, followed by Andy Duncan, Darius Myers, and Jonathan Forsythe from the 7th starting spot. With 4 of the B features complete, it was time to see who the final 4 drivers would be that would lock into the final A feature of the night, the 55-lap Outlaw feature. The Outlaw B feature was a 16-car field led by Tucker Klassmeyer on the pole and Chase Rohrbach sitting on the outside pole. When the checkered flag fell over the final B feature, the 2012 Race for Life, Tucker Klassmeyer would hang on to his starting spot and go on to win the race, locking himself into the back of the 55-lapper. The second driver to transfer was Blake Hahn, followed by Dalton Wisely and Chase Rohrbach. The 2012 Race for Life Donnie Ray Crawford Memorial A feature lineups were now set. After a brief intermission, it was showtime. 6 A features were set for action to see who would take home that number 55 ring that would be the trophy given to each winner. The very first A feature of the night was for the A class. Trey Marcham was the Night 1 feature winner, earning him the pole for tonight's big race. On the outside of Marcham was Jordan Herman, the winner of Night number 2's A feature. This week's top 2 transfer cars of the A class would lead the 20-car field to the green flag waving at the starter stand. On the green, Marcham would take the early lead, but Herman, Andrews, and Rosario were all right there if he made a mistake. Fortunately for Marcham, the yellow would fly for the spun 29 of Ryan Ratliff. On the restart, Marcham leads Herman, Rosario, Andrews, and Halsey to the green. On lap 8, the action would pick up as Herman and Rosario were right there behind Marcham, the blue 32 on the high side and Herman following. Rosario would try the low line, starting to heat up the brakes. Lap 11 now, the yellow would fly for the 81 of Frank Flood and the 5 of Chris Carroll. On the next restart, Marcham still leads the same order. Lap 18, Herman begins to battle with Marcham on the low side as they get into lap traffic. Lap 20, Herman goes to the top and takes the lead in lap traffic. Lap 25 now, and Marcham is back again on the high side. He wants the lead back from the 92, but he'd fail to get it before the yellow would fly on lap 28 for the 20 car of Colton Wisely. Herman would have Marcham in tow, but little would he know that would be bad news for him, because Marcham had his car dialed in by this point of the race and immediately took aim at the lead. On the white flag lap, Marcham would take the lead at the line and bring the blue 32 back across the finish line as the winner of the A-Class A feature. Second place finisher was Jordan Herman, third went to Jake Rosario, fourth was Harlan Holsey, and rounding out the top 5 was the 77 of Chris Andrews. The second A feature of the night was for the junior sprints. A feature winner from night number 2, the 14 car of Blake Battles, would start on the pole, and the second place finisher out of that same A feature, Cannon McIntosh, in the 08 would start on the outside of Battles. The field was 17 cars strong, and all drivers qualified from the night before. Battles would take the early lead, chased by McIntosh, but a yellow flag before getting one lap complete would bring the field back together for a complete restart. On the restart, Battles would jump out again into the lead over McIntosh. McIntosh would give chase the entire time, just biding his time and waiting for the precise moment. Lap 7 seemed to be that moment, as he tried to challenge Battles for the lead when they came up to the first lap car, but Battles would be able to hold him off. McIntosh would see another opportunity on lap 11 going into turn 3. He would actually take the lead from Battles in lap traffic, but Battles would drive right back by him off of turn 4. On lap 14, Battles would stick his car in the middle of 2 lap cars to try and get some distance between him and the hounding car of McIntosh. Coming to the line on lap 18 with 2 laps left, McIntosh would get a run out of turn 4 and drive around the high side of 1 and 2 around Battles, who seemed to be having engine problems. He would take the lead off of turn 2 and go on to take the victory. Cannon McIntosh was your winner of the junior sprint race. Second place finisher was Ryan Hunt. Third was Hank Davis. Fourth was Jacob D. Nail. And rounding out the top 5 was Noah Gass. Blake Battles, who led the first 18 laps, would end up finishing in the 14th spot. After the initial caution, the junior sprints ran the rest of the race green to checkered.
All right, right here. One more time. Thank you.
The third A feature was the restricted class. Jason McDougall, night number 1 A feature winner, earned the pole, and sitting beside him on the outside was night number 2 winner Cole Lambert. The 2 previous night feature winners would bring the 16-car field to the green flag, with McDougall taking the lead early, but the yellow would fly and we'd get a complete restart. On the restart, McDougall would again get out to an early lead over Mickey Walker and Cole Lambert, but the caution would again fly early in the run. 2 laps down, this restart saw McDougall set sails again, but only until lap 4, when the 2-car Walker would take the lead from him down the backstretch using the bottom lane. On lap 9, the 00 car of Grady Chandler has driven his way up to the 3rd spot from his 5th starting position. Fast forward to lap 20, Chandler has begun his assault on the 73 of McDougall for that 2nd spot. He now has his set sight on the leader Walker. On lap 24, Chandler is there. Entering turn 3, Chandler would give Walker a shot in the rear bumper, letting him know that he has some company. White flag. Chandler's there, but Walker has 2 lap cars in front of him. Chandler would again give Walker a shot off of 2, getting beside Walker, and a run down into turn 3 side by side with Chandler down low, and they'd make contact, sending Walker up the track and Chandler going on to take the victory. A very dejected Mickey Walker would finish 2nd. 3rd was Jason McDougall, 4th was Cole Lambert, and rounding out the top 5 was Taylor Reimer. In post-race tech, the 73 of McDougall would be disqualified, and that gave the 3rd spot to Cole Lambert, 4th to Taylor Reimer, and now 5th to Nathan Weeda.
Okay, buddy, meet you right here. Meet you right here. One more time. Thank you.
The 4th A feature of the night was for the non-wing class. Just like with the previous A feature, the night 1 winner, the 5C of Cody Cordell, would be on the pole, and on the outside of him would be the 82 of Steven Shabester by virtue of winning the night 2 A feature. They would bring the 16-car field to the green, but as with the first 2 feature races, would have a quick yellow flag without a lap completed. A complete restart for the non-wing drivers, and it was Shabester with the lead off of turn 2. He'd used the cushion around the top early to his advantage. Chris Andrews in the 77, Chris Cochran in the 7C, and Trey Marcham in the blue 32 would do battle over 3rd, 4th, and 5th spots early. Marcham would take the 3rd spot and set sail for the 2nd place car of Cordell. On lap 9, Marcham would battle the 5C of Cordell for the 2nd spot, eventually taking it, and beginning to try and run down a very stout Shabester. Lap 14, Shabester is in heavy lap traffic. Luckily his lead is so big he has plenty of time to be patient and pick off each lap car without much of a risk. However, on lap 21, the yellow would fly for the 77 of Andrews, who slowed on the front stretch. On this restart, Shabester would have 2 lap cars giving him a cushion from the 2nd place car of Marcham. The green flag flew, and Shabester, like he had for most of the race so far, had just driven away from the field. But only for a lap, because the yellow flag would again fly for the stalled car of Harley White. On the following restart, Shabester would still have that 2 lap car cushion over Marcham, and Marcham had the same cushion over the 3rd place car of Cochran. The green flew, and so did Shabester, using the cushion that he had the whole race. He would drive away and seemingly have this race sewn up, except 7 laps later the caution would once again fly. Marcham would actually lose a spot to another lap car, giving Shabester a 3-car cushion on the restart. The green flag flies, and to no one's surprise, so does Shabester. But another caution would bring the field back together late in this race. They're lined up once again, and through the cone at the starter stand, Shabester this time would only have a 1-car cushion between he and the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars. It was clear he had to go hard, and go hard he did. But on the next lap, entering turn 1, he'd hit that cushion just a little too hard and break off the left front tire. This was the 2nd race tonight that a driver had the race practically won, and a late race incident would change the whole outcome. On the final restart of the night for the non-wing class, Marcham would now lead. Cochran was 2nd, and Jeffrey Newell was now up to 3rd spot in his 47 car. All 3 leaders would be nose to tail through the cone. Marcham only needed to hold off the 2nd and 3rd place cars for 2 laps, and that he did, going on to take the win and pick up his number 55 ring at the end of the night. With Marcham winning, Cochran was 2nd, 3rd was Jeffrey Newell, 4th was Randy Wagnon Jr., and rounding out the top 5 was Cody Cordell. By winning the non-wing race, this would record the 2nd win for Trey Marcham tonight in the blue 32. The 5th A feature to hit the track was the Sportsman A feature. Night 1 winner Randy Myers and 2nd place finisher in that same race, Dave Nicholson, would lead the field to the initial green flag, followed by 14 more drivers, all looking to pick up a win at the Port City Raceway's Race for Life. On the start of the race, the 6th car of Randy Myers would go out to the early lead. But by lap 4, going into turn 3, the 15R of John Stowe would not only challenge but take the lead from Myers. Lap 5, the 79 of Matt Taylor would follow Stowe and take the 2nd position. 2 laps later, it was Danny Klum passing Myers for third. Lap 10, the top 3 are nose to tail and about to hit lap traffic. Lap 11, Danny Klum takes over the second spot. Lap 13, now traffic. Lap 16, Klum takes the lead at the line from Stowe, and although Stowe would try and get it back on the next lap, Klum would hang on to the lead. Lap 21 would see the first yellow flag of the race in the Sportsman A feature. The 82 car of David Doss would slow in turn 2. Lined up for the restart, Klum leads Stowe and Taylor through the cone at the flag stand. But on lap 23, the yellow would again fly for the 21W in turn 4. On the final restart, Klum still leads Stowe and Taylor, and Myers now on Taylor's bumper. Klum would get out to a healthy lead and never look back, taking the very emotional victory. You could see it as he crossed the finish line, fist pumping in the air. Not only because of the Donnie Ray Memorial, but because his father wasn't able to be there this weekend, and Danny promised his father that he'd win the race just for him. That he certainly did. Danny Klum was your winner, Matt Taylor was second, third was John Stowe, fourth was Randy Myers, and rounding out the top 5 was Craig Carroll. The final feature of the night was the Outlaw A feature. The fans in the stands, the drivers that had already finished competing, and everyone else, myself included, was treated to a special moment when Donnie Ray's 2 microsprints would pace the 20-car field around the Port City Raceway, piloted by no other than Donnie and Ray Crawford. It was a proper salute to a young man who so many people love and miss. Chris Andrews, the Night 1 feature winner, would start on the pole, and on his outside would be the 29 car of Scott Sawyer, the Night 2 feature winner. The green flag dropped and all the sobbing stopped as the 20 car field roared to life on lap 1 of the 55 lap A feature. Chris Andrews used the top to take the lead and get himself a healthy lead right off the bat. Lap 3, Andrews would have a half a straightaway lead on the 29 of Sawyer. Lap 7, the yellow would fly for the 12S of Drew Salisbury. On the restart, Andrews leads Sawyer, Josh Pickles, Harlan Holsey, and Zach Alley to the green. Andrews would get out to a half a straightaway lead again instantly. Lap 10, Pickle passes Sawyer for second. Lap 14 now, the yellow would fly for the 17E of Blake Edwards. On this restart, Andrews now led Pickles in second, Sawyer in third, Holsey in fourth, and Alley is your top 5. They would go green until lap 15 for the spun car of Billy Lawhead. On the next restart, it was the 8, the 20 car, and the 29 your top 3. Andrews would break out to an impressive straightaway lead this time within 3 laps. The caution would again fly on lap 18 for the 17W of Harley White. On the next restart, same top 3. Pickle would miss a shift, bunching everyone up behind him and allow Andrews to get away without a challenge. By lap 23, Sawyer would drop back to the 5th position. Lap 27, Andrews was in traffic, but second place was nowhere close to be even a threat at this point. Lap 29, the 29 car of Sawyer would hit the curb in turn 1 and blow the left rear tire, retiring him from the event. On the next restart, Andrews would have a 2-lap car cushion between he and Pickle. A short time later, the 21 of Dalton Wisely would bring out another yellow flag, and that would prompt the red flag for the midway pit stop. During the pit stop, 2 crew members were allowed per car, and they could do everything except change tires. As the crews worked on the cars, I quickly asked Andrews if he could take the win tonight since he'd shown his unbeatable strength all weekend in the Outlaw
Andrews,
class.
halfway through, you gonna
He
win?
assured me with a big smile that he was sure going to try.
Good with command shocks, lightning wings, you know, metric cycle power. Give me plenty of power tonight, so we'll see what happens. We've got a whole other race to go.
The pit stops were now complete and the field was lined back up in order from the last yellow flag. Andrews leads with a 2-lap car cushion on the restart. 2 laps later, the 92 of Rosario would spin, bringing out a quick yellow flag. Next restart, Chris still had a 2-lap car cushion behind him, but one of those lap cars missed a shift and didn't go, therefore bringing the field back together under yellow. The field's lined up, ready to go green again, and Andrews would take off from the field on lap 43. He would hit lap traffic again, however the yellow flag would again fly for the 59 of Billy Lawhead. Final restart now. Pickle is on Andrews' rear bumper. When the green flag flew, Andrews would take off just like every other restart this race, but this time Pickle wouldn't let him get away that easy. With 5 laps left, Andrews would have to go into defense mode, moving to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to hold off any advance that Pickle would be able to throw at him. Andrews, who ran 95% of the race, banging the cushion in every turn, was now on the bottom and going to add to his already impressive resume for 2012. Josh Pickle would hold on to second, Zach Alley would wind up third, Harlan Holsey would finish fourth, and rounding out the final top 5 of the night was Blake Hahn. After the race, Andrews shared a moment with Donnie Ray's father. How do you celebrate a big win? Chris Andrews would go on to do a Polish victory lap honoring Donnie Ray, and then proceed to celebrate the only way Andrews knows how, with donuts in the infield.
Right here. One more time. Thanks, sir.
It was a very long and hot, emotional weekend for everyone involved in the 2012 Race for Life. We at 600 Scene would once again like to thank Kaiser Wheels, Sawyer Chassis, and all the folks at Port City Raceway for having us come out to Tulsa and cover this remarkable event. Donnie Ray Crawford was an exceptional young man who was taken from this world too early. The crowd and competitors inside the confines of Port City were a testament to that. Aaron Lemon said it best, "We're going to take something bad and turn it into something good." That has been accomplished, and everyone who had a hand in overseeing this race should feel a sense of pride. I personally was honored to be able to bring you all the action and emotion that filled the little dirt track in Tulsa this weekend. Thank you to everyone for tuning in this week, and remember, we're always on the scene at 600scene.com.